Aromie here. Welcome back to Tailor Tales. We're now entering chapter 26. We either have 1 or 3 more episodes left. The ER doctor has left us alone in the room, right after showing us the x-rays of my ribcage. Not looking so pretty. Obviously, you have broken rib cages. Or ribs. Yeah. On one hand, the painkillers I got are definitely helping. Can't feel a thing. It's amazing. Kane paces around the room. He can't sit still. Screw Forrester, he yells. We had him. After 8 years of believing he's dead, I had him right in front of me. Hey, don't yell. Let's not forget my sister here has 2 broken ribs and a mild concussion, right? Chastises him. How long do earthlings take? Him and this earthling word take to heal such an injury? Asks James, completely serious. I give in response. Way longer than you. Doctor said a month or 2. So I'm gonna be healing during the attack. That's not gonna happen. Well, it's not doing any exercise or heavy lifting, right? Answers. James is about to ask how long a month is, but Yu quickly sits down next to him on the bed. I'm so sorry. I feel like I failed you, says Yu with a sad face. Oh, don't be sad, I reassure him. You saved me there with that blackout. I didn't catch you, though, he pouts. Oh, you're cute. You're so cute. Get the fuck out. This is not your route. Well, of course not, silly. You weren't even there. Even mighty Hulk James couldn't catch me. James suddenly looks offended. Why is she acting so odd? He directs his question towards Rai. Excuse me, I'm not odd. I reject his comment. It's the drugs they gave her for the pain. There was definitely a lot of pain, I say, nodding. Then James went all, "Rawr! Not mine, Michiko." I say, making a fake grabby claws with my hands. James' mouth drops open. That is not what went down. Then whoosh, no more oath. I proudly show the back of my hand. Oh, so that's what happened, Hyuk pipes in, looking at his own hand. So that means the rules are broken, he asks. No rules. Kill him when this is all you like. No. Rai puts his hand in front of my mouth, preventing me from speaking any further, half indignantly. Let's not get carried away here, shall we? He says, laughing awkwardly. I nearly bite down his fingers. Rai yells and pulls his hand away. Demon, he hisses at me. God, we need to take you home and get you to bed. She can't sleep, Kane says in a more serious tone. At least the doctor said to keep waking her up to see if she isn't acting weird because of the concussion. Which is true. Because I had a mild concussion at work. And I was like, I'm just going to go home and take a nap. And then the doctor was like, no. You shouldn't be doing that. And I was like, what? Because you could die in your sleep. Shit, I didn't know any better. Any weirder than this, Rai quirks an eyebrow. Can you stop calling me weird? I request with a yawn. Now I'm starting to feel sleepy. Rai sighs and runs a hand through his hair. Fine, someone can watch while she sleeps and wakes her up. James heroically steps forward. I shall keep watch. Rai looks at Eok. Anyone other than the muscular freak? Eok meekly looks down. Prince James can keep watch, yes, he agrees with James. Oh, that's so kind of you. I knew you cared about me after all. I coo at James. James rolls his eyes at me, his lips curl in disgust. By the way, catch, says Kane as he takes something out of his pocket and throws it towards Rai. Rai catches a small vial that looks like a tranquilizer dart. Oh, I didn't realize Kane was into some kinky things. Is this what I think it is? He asked, eyeing the object carefully. He had a sample in his purse, and I kept it away from that Forrester guy. It's the real deal. Wow, I can't believe they turned this into some kind of anti-super venom. Do you think it's possible to create some sort of antidote for my powers? Kane asks, sounding hopeful. Rai rubs his chin deep in thought. My little brother can look so mature sometimes. I could definitely try, but I first need to see what they did to achieve this kind of formula. He's talking science right now. That will put me right to sleep. I reach my hands out to James like a kid trying to grab a cookie. Then again, James is a snack. Girl, are you drunk? I'm sleepy. Let's go home. He looks at me strangely. What do you want from me? Carry me. He thinks it over for a second before Rai interrupts. You can use one of those wheelchairs in the hospital like a normal person. I pout. Then I want James to push me. Rai shrugs. Suit yourself. James gently lies me down on the bed. Being unable to walk up the stairs myself, he pulls the covers over my body. That's all the carry I'm doing today, he says gruffly. What if I have to pee? Then you'll have to walk yourself. Just yell if you need any help going to the bathroom, okay? Says Rai. Fine. Where's Kane? I asked, noticing he's absent. Downstairs, we've got a few things to discuss. Super secret stuff. top secret, he says with a wink. Now get some rest. Your pills are on your nightstand in case you start feeling some pain again. Ryan walks towards the door before stopping at James. She needs to be woken up every 2 hours. Can you do that? 2 hours? Every 2 hours? What? Yeah, I might as well not sleep. Affirmative, he answers stoically. Ryan walks out of the room, and when I notice James is about to follow him, I feel my stomach drop in a bundle of nerves. Hey, I call out to him. Are you leaving me? He quirks an eyebrow at me. You do not need constant supervision as far as I'm aware. Don't leave me, I mumble quietly. I don't want to be alone right now. For a few long seconds, what feels like an eternity, James sighs, closing the door of my room. Fine, he concedes. He folds his arms across his chest and leans against the door. Well, you don't have to stand there. Come, I pat down on my bed, making room for him. James gives me a perturbed look, but he pushes himself away from the door and sits down at the end of the bed. I smile at him, satisfied he's not leaving. Then I realize I'm still in my super suit, and it would be kinda uncomfortable to sleep in this. I unzip the front part of the suit and slip out the top. James quickly turns his head away. I kick my pants off as well, then pull the covers over myself, nuzzling my face against the pillow. Are you gonna keep watch over me all night? I'll be here, he grunts. I grin widely. Good. I fall into a deep slumber. Something touches my shoulder and shakes me. I groggily open my eyes to see the blurry figure of James standing over me. I sigh. I just want to sleep, I complain. Stop waking me up. It's time to get up, he mentions. I blink up at him, then quickly look at my phone to see the time. I wince in pain as my chest starts to throb and I lie back down in bed. Ouch, it feels like I've been hit by a truck, I explain. A worried expression covers James' face. Are you in pain? I nod at him, feeling a little breathless at the moment. Earthlings are so feeble, he says softly as he reaches for the pills on my nightstand and hand them to me. As I take them from his hand and pop a pill into my mouth, I look into his brown eyes. Suddenly the ramification of what happened last night settles in. The way I fell down the shaft, how James protected me from getting shot, how he managed to capture Benjamin, all for it to be ruined with Forrester Inc. crashing the party. I bury my face into my hands with a deep sigh. I can't believe we had to hand him over, I groan. There are so many things I want to ask him. Your senses seem to have somewhat returned, says James. I suddenly feel myself flushing, realizing how I acted last night when they gave me a high dosage of painkillers. I turn away from him, giving an awkward giggle. I acted a bit silly last night, didn't I? If that's what you want to call it. But thanks for staying with me, I say, feeling grateful he kept watch. Why can you not visit their headquarters and question him there? Asks James, changing the subject. They turned me away, probably, I say, unsure. I'm not exactly in good standing with Neil Forrester right now. Last night I acted illegally. It's a miracle that Forrester Inc. didn't apprehend me on the spot, I admit. Non-registered supers aren't allowed to use their ability in the public, I say with an awkward smile. James tilts his head to the side. They have no evidence to use it, so where's the issue? I guess he's got a point there. However, just going after Julio in the first place was a big no-no. I've been in the waters with them ever since the Super Mall Girl incident as well. I shake my head. I guess we can try, but I don't expect much. My stomach suddenly rumbles loudly, interrupting our conversation. You're making strange noises again. A bit shy, I look down at the bed. I'm just hungry. I didn't eat anything when we came home last night. Then let's make sure you're provided with sustenance to keep your strength up. I like some breakfast, yes. James pauses slightly before asking a different question. What is the duration of an Earthling month, he asks. Oh, you're asking about my recovery time. A month is roughly 30 days, and I think the doctor said it'll take a month at the very least. You take that long to recover? He sounds aghast. I don't think you understand how abnormal your extraordinary healing abilities are compared to, well, everyone else. Earthlings are... Yeah, help me up. I interrupt as I reach out my hand to him. James lifts me up out of the bed and I lean against his body for support. As the cold air hits my naked skin, I can't come to the realization that I'm only in my underwear. I didn't put on any pajamas last night. I mumble awkwardly. I need to get dressed. James' hands slip out of mine. He turns around, not saying a word. He walks towards the door. I'll be on the outside. The door shuts behind him and I let out a small breath I've been holding. Today is weird. My feelings are going haywire. While James is chilling. Eok and Rye are already eating in the kitchen as James carries me downstairs. He places me down on the floor and I wave at everyone. How are you feeling? Asks Rye immediately. Would Michiko like some of my food? Eok offers a half-eaten sandwich. I shake my head at Eok. Thanks, but I'll make my own breakfast, or lunch I suppose. By the way, why are you still in your human form? I question him. Eok pounds onto his chest. After yesterday, I feel like I should be training more in this form to get more acquainted with it. I smile at him. I guess that makes sense. Then I turn to my brother. And I'm not going to lie, my body's definitely aching all over, I answer him. Are the painkillers not helping? I just took one, so it should kick in after a bit. I look around, not spotting Kane. Did Kane go home? Yeah, he's pissed, of course. Do you think we could see Benjamin? I asked hesitantly. Well, that's what Kane is going to find out. He'll be going to Forrester Inc. today and demand to see his father. Oh, we should go too. Rai snorts loudly. You're not going anywhere. Look at you. You had to be carried downstairs. I narrow my eyes at him. I can still walk, you know. You need rest. You took a pretty large blow and broke a couple of ribs. Let King do his thing. He deserves it the most. I sigh. I suppose he's right. It is Kane's dad after all, but I still want to question him myself. Ask him if it's true he killed my parents. Why he did it. I want to feel vindicated. Yet now I won't get the opportunity. Your brother's right. Michiko must rest. Eat, Iyok urges. I sigh once Martha sit down on the bar stool. What are you going to do then? I asked, looking at Rai. I'm going to study the sample King gave me. Perhaps I can configure a sort of antidote. Wait, what sample? I asked, surprised. You were kind of out of it last night, but King managed to swipe a sample from Ben. It's the anti-super drug. I can't believe they turned it into a drug. Are they really going to use it tomorrow at the parade? I'm unsure. We did manage to disrupt them last night, and Forrester Inc. seemed to know what was going on, so maybe they have it under control. I don't trust them one bit, I say ominously. Well, me neither, so I'll be working in the basement for the rest of the day, see what I can find out about this drug they made. Rai gets up from his seat. By the way, if they allow Kane to visit him, he'll be wearing a camera, he says while winking. That makes me break out into a relieved smile. If I can't be there, it'd be nice to see Kane question him. Rai disappears into the basement. So, Michiko, what are your plans for today? Asked Iyok cheerfully. Rest, answers James for me, as he places down a plate of food. Is that for me? I question him, looking at the crudely made sandwich he concocted while I was talking to Rai. I poke at it and see there's a cucumber and ketchup hidden between the slices. Is it not adequate enough for you? He huffs. It's fine. I pick it up and take a bite. It's fine, I say with a mouthful of food. I try my best to swallow a strange and unpleasant combination. After all, James was nice enough to make it for me. James looks pleased when I've taken a bite. Why is he still in his suit, though? You could dress more casually. But pickles and ketchup? Didn't he make me a burger without, like, the beef patty? And I don't have anything planned for today. Training has been canceled. I almost wanted to say I could continue my training once I recover, but it's like a month or two in the future. Are Iyok and James even going to be around anymore? That's so sad. Veritas is arriving any day now, and they will both be returning to their home planet. The thought makes me sad. Hey Iyok, what will you do once Veritas has been defeated? I ask him. It's hard to say. I'll be returning Yule and fight any remaining loyalists there. Then hopefully Princess Lena will be our new leader. Lena, a leader? James cuts in, like he's never given the idea much thought. She's been the forefront of this rebellion. Midiko, back her. I think she'll be an excellent choice in getting Yule back on track. Yule isn't even our home planet. Why would she want to invest her time to lead them? James questions. What about you, James? What do you plan to do? I ask instead. James folds his arm across his chest. I haven't put much thought into it. As long as I can keep my family safe, that is all that matters. That sad feeling multiplies as I think about never seeing James again. What about your brother, Caleb? I asked, changing the subject. He seemed to be a rather big fan of Veritas. Excuse me. It was a little concerned as well. It's something Princess Lena is also worried about. Captain Caleb has been a loyalist for his entire life. She does not want to have to fight him. Fight him? James exclaims, looking alert. If Captain Caleb continues to support Lord Veritas, that may very well be the outcome. I gasp in response. Are you saying you'd kill his brother? James suddenly grabs Iyok's shirt by the collar in anger. You do not get to touch a single hair on my brother's body, you understand? Iyok cowers in fear. Of course, he yelps. James, release him. It's not his decision to make here. I try to make peace between them. James pushes Iyok away from him and then stomps his foot on the ground, dramatically turning on his heel. He quickly snatches my sandwich from the plate and takes it with him. I'm training, he barks. He leaves the cabin. Iyok sighs in relief. Prince James can be terrifying at times. I feel worried all of a sudden. What if James is forced to pick a side between two siblings? Caleb seemed very nice at the start, but he ruthlessly flogged his own brother on Veritas' command. What's going to happen to Caleb if Caleb will actually fight his siblings, I question out loud. He gulps. It's a situation where no one wins. I hope that won't be the case. Surely he would side with his siblings, no? I say hopefully. Iyok doesn't respond. Instead, there's a gloomy expression on his face. Hey Iyok, what about Nornis? I ask, all of a sudden remembering him. If Veritas is the throne, what will happen to his younger brother? Iyok stutters. I don't know. Alarm bells go ring off in my head. No, you have to make sure nothing happens to him. He's completely naive to whatever Veritas is doing. He's so innocent. I know that. Prince Nordis is not involved in any war meetings and the like. But Princess Lena, please, I beg him, just make sure he's safe. I would try, Michiko. I don't want to kill the young prince either. This makes me super worried for him. I would even welcome him to stay on Earth if it's too dangerous on Yule, but it's not like he'll be tagging along with Veritas, who is getting ready for war. I just want him to be safe. I mumble as I release his arm. I promise I'll keep him safe to the best of my capabilities, Eok says with an encouraging smile. Eok is like a prince in shining armor. Like, no, he's a knight. He's the knight. James is obviously the prince. Eok is the knight. He'll die for you. If he loves you that much, obviously. Maybe James will help too. That's a little too optimistic, Eok chuckles nervously. I'm going to miss you, Eok, I say with a sad smile. Oh no. Let's not. Man, no wonder Eok won. His face falters as well. Same. I am happy we managed to cross paths, even if it was under ideal circumstances. Maybe in another life the circumstances would have been different. Maybe, he agrees with a smile. Having to say goodbye to Eok feels like saying goodbye to a best friend. Kane is a very dear friend of mine, and nothing will replace him, but I've grown so attached to Eok. And admittedly, James has also filled a spot, a dubious spot. I've grown far too attached to him than I'm willing to admit. Do you reckon he'll be training the entire day? I asked, looking at the window. Prince James? Most likely. It's all he does. He's very dedicated, which is why it's amazing he sacrificed his own training to instruct you instead. I suppose that's true, I agree quietly. Michiko, what will happen tomorrow? He asked. Isn't that the day those Julios were going to attack? That was their plan, yes, to attack the superheroes at the parade. Now I'm not so sure. We definitely disrupted something last night. I sigh. I just want to question Benjamin. Eok places a hand on my shoulder. The time will come to get your answers, I'm hopeful. I smile back at him. Thanks, let's hope. Eventually, wrap up our conversation and Eok goes to train as well. My day is spent lounging in front of the TV watching some movies. When is the love? Where is the love, bruh? A while later, Rai helps me down to the basement. It's time. Kane went to the Forrester Inc. to demand to see his father. He just texted me and they'll allow it because it's his father and only because of that. My heart starts pounding. Will they allow him to record it? Rai snorts. Hell no they won't, but they don't know that we're doing it in the first place. I can always count on you to be sneaky, I say with a cheeky grin. Roy opens up his laptop, which is showing a live feed from a small camera situated on Kane's chest. He's currently being escorted by some guards. The hallway is looking very familiar. That's where they held Eok and James, isn't it? I point out. Most likely, yes. And then he enters the holding cell with Benjamin in the middle. Kane is left alone. It's silent for a while as Kane stands in front of his father, and in fact, nothing is being said for so long that I think the audio isn't working. But then Kane speaks. Why'd you do it? Benjamin doesn't even look Kane in the eyes. Answer me, Kane yells when he doesn't get a response. What are you going to do, boy? Torture me, Benjamin laughs. I damn well will if you won't give me the answers I'm looking for, Kane hisses back. Get lost, Benjamin sneers. Suddenly I see Kane zap him with electricity, making Benjamin scream out in agony. Why'd you kill her? Why'd you kill the melodies? All this time it was you, wasn't it? Why so interested in it now? You didn't seem to care much all these years, Benjamin huffs. You seem pretty content to think you're an orphan, he grins. Kane once more zaps his father in response. I can feel his hatred flowing through the video feed. For years I thought you were both dead. I was alone all this time, but you were the one that killed her. Why? What did she do? Benjamin narrows his eyes at Kane. What didn't she do? She birthed you, a freak of nature, an abomination. My only regret is that you didn't run into that fire to die with her. Does he lack powers? Kane loses it and he throws an electric punch into Benjamin's face. It hits him in his jaw and he's knocked away from the chair and falls onto the ground. You bastard! Kane yells as he delivers another punch. Then Kane is quickly pulled off of him as he struggles against two guards holding him down. Voltage, I understand you're upset, but please do not hit our suspect. We need him alive, says the voice of Neil off camera. Kane huffs and tries to compose himself. Benjamin is tied to the chair once more, his face looking bruised. Why did you kill her? Why then? Why there? Asks Kane. She was going to betray me, Benjamin answers chilly. I couldn't let that go unpunished. Betray you? How? That damn portation is Smoker. I didn't realize they were onto me. Those meddlesome vigilantes turned out to be the Melodies, and they were going to persuade your mom to testify against me. So you killed them before they could. Very convenient for them all to gather in one place, Benjamin smirks. I feel my stomach content finding its way up. I'm so sick. Again, my only regret is that you didn't die with her. And just like that, Kane delivers another punch to Benjamin's face. Neil can be heard yelling from the other side, but Kane calmly walks out of the holding cell. We're done here. Do whatever you want to him. I'll testify whatever you need me to. Kane then brushes past Neil and leaves. I'm assuming his father didn't have powers and he was kind of jelly. I can feel tears welling up in my eyes. Confirmation that it wasn't just some freak accident, but that Benjamin killed our parents. It's cathartic. After all these years, I know the answer to my parents' deaths. My parents were going to stop him. They were good people. They didn't have to die like that. Right sees I'm about to cry and quickly pulls me in for a hug. Don't think about him, he tries to calm me. That piece of shit can rot in jail for a lifetime. I step in and lay my chin on his shoulder. Your hug is actually hurting me, I whine softly. Oh jeez, I'm sorry, Rai yelps and quickly backs off. I giggle, rubbing away any tears that may have formed from my eyes. Mom and Dad were vigilantes. They were going to stop Benjamin, I say with a half smile. They died doing what they thought was the right thing. I can't be more proud. Rai's bottom lip starts to tremble. Don't be sappy, you'll make me cry, he warns. It's okay, you can cry if you want, I say, giving his shoulder a slight punch. Nah, it's okay, I've worked through their deaths a long time ago. It's no longer time to be sad, we should be mad instead. I nod at him. I agree, Benjamin needs to be punished, but not only him, Julio too. The entire organization needs to be eradicated. And here I thought you wanted to take it easy, Rai grins at me. I'll never give up until they're gone, I say confidently. Rai ruffles my hair with a smile. Go back to bed. We can think about Julio when you've recovered enough to actually walk up and down the stairs yourself. Fair enough. A couple hours later, Kane returns to the cabin. So there you have it, he says, sitting down on the couch. My dad was actually secretly the leader of Julio and killed my mom and your parents. His shoulders slump and he sighs. He's a monster. I can't believe I cried over him. Hey, they all fooled us. There's no need to feel bad about it, I reassure him. Can't believe your parents really were vigilantes, Kane says with a crooked grin. That's kind of cool, you know? Not like they told us, Rai points out. What kind of abilities do you think they had, I ask. From what I can gather, Dad went by the name of Portation, and I also believe he was able to teleport or make some kind of portal. Really? What makes you think that? Well, for one, the name, and the fact that they never really knew about the basement. And we never knew about the basement before. The secret door. I think Dad just created portals to get inside the basement so we wouldn't be suspicious, or so that others couldn't find it maybe. Creating portals, I start to think about it, and some things do start to click. Maybe that's how they got to the office so fast as well. Remember, they were going to give Mr. Invisible his papers, but in that small moment they managed to get from the cabin to the office, which is like more than an hour drive. Rai smiles. Seems you're pretty clever yourself, sis. Portals, huh? Kane says, deep in thought. Why didn't he just escape the fire? Escape the fire with the portal then? He brings up a good point. Honestly, I don't know. I think Dad tried to find everyone in the building to save them, but the fire was too much. You think my mom was also, he questions. I'm not sure. I think she was just a normie, I say. They were going to warn her that what your dad was really involved with. He legit thinks we're abominations, says Kane with a snort. He's lost his mind. I never realized it as a kid. I mean, he mostly ignored my existence, but I never would have thought he loathed my very being. Julio's organization and its supporters are all kinds of messed up, says Rai. Did you see the number of supers that were at the hotel? I can't believe they would willingly ally themselves with people who want to see them dead. Maybe not all of them have a choice, I point out. Mr. Invisible seemed to be blackmailed into it. Yeah, but I doubt every single one of them has dirt they don't want exposed. Some of them seem to agree with Ben. Either way, it all feels too real, too close to home. We need to deal with Julio once and for all, Kane says decidedly. I agree, I nod. Same, just because we cut off the head doesn't mean the body dies with it as well, Rai agrees. Forrester Inc. kept stressing that they've got a handle and told me not to get involved. But I don't trust them to deal with it all tomorrow at the parade. I'm sure they'll strike. Kane narrows his eyes. We're going to have to warn all the supers there. Who knows how much of that drug they made and got stashed away. Speaking of, I managed to get some information out of the sample, says Rai optimistically. What did you find out? I asked, curious. There's a genetic footprint based on Kane's electricity, but it's combined with something else. I haven't identified it yet, but my hunch is that they use another super's ability to turn into a drug that suppresses their powers indefinitely. So don't get drugged, right? Kane jokes. That's for sure, but I'll try my best to reverse the effects. An antidote will certainly be handy. I'm going to send out a notice to as many supers that I personally know that are going to attend the parade, says Kane as he gets up. Are we going to the parade? I ask. Well, I am. It's better if you stay home. You need to rest, says Kane. I can't help but feel dejected and useless, right? I turn to my brother. What about you? Think I'll stay here with you in case anything bad goes down there. At least I won't be in the crossfire. My drone will be there as my stand-in, he says with finger guns. That means you're alone, Kane, I tell him. The thought of him being out there on his own is scary to me. That's alright, I can take care of myself, he says with a cocky grin. But first, gotta warn who I can. I'll be heading off. I'll text you guys later, okay? Ryan and I nod at Kane before he heads off. I wish we could give him a hug, just in case. You don't know, you never know. Hi, James. Kind of forgot this is your route. Even before I reach the stairs, James blocks my way before I can go down myself. Don't walk around like that, he fusses over me. He extends out his hand, expecting me to take it so he can guide me downstairs. Slowly, he helps me get down without much trouble. Everyone is babying me right now because of my broken ribs, but I guess I don't mind as much. It is hard to move around stairs like this. When I enter the kitchen, I see 2 cups of hot chocolate on the counter, and I'm smiling at James. You came prepared. You're a creature of habit. It seems even grave injuries don't keep you away from your sweet beverage. Did you learn how to make it? To heat it up, sir? oh, I kind of forgot he had this thing back on him. I giggle in response. Well, he's not wrong. I do quite enjoy drinking hot chocolate. Or should I say enjoy sharing with James. There's something about the nights we spend together like this. All peaceful. I've come to enjoy it. And it really rather bums me out when I realize that it will all come to an end very soon. I sit down on the bar stool with my hands clasped around the cup. Is it not hot enough? Asks James. Why do you ask? It's fine, I say, perking up. You look gloomy, like when I prepared your food earlier today. Oh, well, your sandwich is rather, creative. Not a very good combination, I'm afraid. James frowns at me. But I appreciate the gesture, I do, I say quickly, not wanting to offend him. James huffs in response, but then takes a sip from his own cup to preoccupy himself. How are your injuries? He asks me when he swallows. The same as a few hours ago, I reply with a sigh. It's not going to improve that fast, you know. James places the cup down on the counter and stares at it, his brown eyes not quite focused. That is, he starts off awkwardly. My eyes glance over towards him. There's something on his mind I can tell. That is what, I repeat. He averts his gaze from mine, his frown deepening even more. That is my error, he grumbles. I raise my eyebrows at him. I can't tell if he's talking about the sandwich or something else. My failure to save you from the fall, he adds. Aw, he looks actually like quite sad. Aw. I never noticed the knife over here. What the fuck? Oh, I breathe out. What are you blaming yourself for that? Why are you blaming yourself for that? Don't be silly. Me falling through the shaft was no one's fault. My reactions weren't quick enough. I let you fall. For that, I am deeply regretful. Jane's body has turned on me uncertain. I don't think he's lying. I know how delicate earthlings are and yet fail to prevent any harm done towards you, he sighs. You were under my protection and I didn't follow through. But you did. I was about to get shot and you made sure that didn't happen, I stress. Suddenly a hand reaches out across the counter to capture mine. I feel myself grow warm in response. He gently tugs on it. Look, bruises are forming. I can't imagine what your back might look like. My eyes flutter up to his. Honestly, I think your back probably looks worse. This is no joking matter, he sneers with a glare, but his touch remains gentle. Do you want to see? I ask him. I'm unsure why I would offer, but it would only make him feel worse. It would only make him feel worse. My back is probably a combination of blue, purple, maybe even green. Bruises can be quite colorful. James stiffens up at the suggestion, but then his eyes turn serious. Show me, he says. I slip my hand out of his hand to get up from the stool. I turn around and grab the hemline of my shirt with my hands. I wince when I try to lift it up. Within a second, James appears right behind me, his hand on mine, urging me to slow down. I can feel his hot breath on my neck, and I find myself flushing at our proximity. Slowly, I lift my shirt over my head with James' help. He gently removes it from my arms and takes a tiny step backwards. Did I need to remove my whole shirt off? I feel like I didn't need to do that. Step backwards to look at me. I cover my naked chest. Why am I naked? Am I not wearing a bra? This was probably not the best time to... Best time not to wear a bra. However, it hurt way too much to wear one. I could only tolerate loose clothing. I flinched forwards when I feel Jane's finger poke my spine. Apologies, I didn't mean to hurt you, he declares quickly. No, you didn't. I was just surprised, to tell him. I'd expect him to touch me. How does it look? I haven't seen it myself. Your fair skin has been tainted by dark marks, he explains. I figured I am. James softly presses his fingertips against my back. I'm sorry, he says in a genuine remorseful tone. I end up shivering from the cold, or perhaps his touch. I'm unsure at this point. Honestly, it's not your fault. You end up saving me from getting shot anyway, and said my name. That is true! Wait, it did not click in my brain that he said my name. This whole time he's just been calling me Earthling and stuff. James hands me my shirt and I slowly pull it over my head again. This entire day I've been preoccupied with thoughts of Benjamin and Julio and the occasional back pain, but I didn't stop to think about what happened between James and me. James sits down at the counter again, taking a sip from his cup. I'm sure the chocolate has slowly turned cold by now, but now there's this question burning in my mind. When I fell down, you called me by my name. I point out. Why? James suddenly spits out his chocolate and coughs. He closes his eyes and pretends nothing is wrong, clearing his throat. Must have been your imagination, he murmurs. I tilt my head to the side, eyebrows slightly lowering. You said it loud and clear. Everyone in that ballroom heard you say my name. James cracks his eyes open, but he avoids looking at me. He remains silent. In fact, you may have just outed me, you know? I was wearing a mask, but you yelling out Machiko to the dozens of people inside of it. I may just have to stay hidden forever now. I'm sure there are more Earthlings with that name, he mutters defiantly. What name? I ask coyly. Trying to fish for it. James glares at me. Yours. Which would be... If you're attempting to make me pronounce your Earthling name, then prepare to be disappointed. I pout at him, feeling crestfallen. I start stopping myself mid-sentence. What was I going to say? Impressed? Shocked? Gleeful? It's hard to articulate my thoughts. I felt seen. Thank you for treating me with respect. I'm getting sad. I finish. James awkwardly crosses his arms over his chest. It's hard not to see you. What? What's that supposed to mean? Even if I try to ignore you, you're always in my peripheral vision, demanding attention. Aren't you just admitting you're keeping an eye on me no matter what? If I don't, you get hurt. I can feel my heart start to throb. The way he's talking about me, the way he's talking about making sure I don't get hurt, or his regret that he couldn't protect me. James, do you care what happens to me? I ask him. James bites out on his bottom lip, tightening his arms around his body like he's trying to prevent himself from spilling out any secrets. He's trying his best to deny, and I will have none of that. James, I call out to him again in a clear voice. Do you care about me? Dark brown eyes finally meet mine. Oh my god. Yes. I know all the signs have been there. Even Iyok has teased me about how James has grown soft because of me, but nothing could have prepared me for the explosive feeling in my heart right now. My face starts to heat up in response. Didn't expect you to be truthful, I say with a slight stutter. You're the one that asked the question, he says in a gruff voice, equally feeling awkward. You are... Ugh. James finally unfolds his arms and runs a hand through his black hair. Then he leans his face into his hands with a sigh. I don't know why you're having such an effect on me. Oh. I breathe out, feeling a little overwhelmed. It's not like I'm immune either. James removes his hand from his face, taking in a deep breath. You must know, my family is all I care about. The survival of my siblings and preserving the sliver of Rahu bloodlines we have left. That's all I ever want. That's all that ever mattered. Being chained and used, forced to make heinous decisions. All in the name of survival. He gives me a serious look. And I'd do it all over again if I had to. I can understand that, I admit. I don't agree with his methods, but I understand his position, much like how Mr. Invisible had to continue paying for a mistake he made when he was younger, forced to continue to do even worse things. There was an easy way out. James likely didn't have much of a choice either. Most of my life had been someone else's puppet, forced to do things I didn't want to do. James' eyes flicker down to the bracelet cuffed around his wrist. Chained, he mutters. I did everything in the name of my family, he says as he clenches his hands into his fists. His chocolate brown eyes look at me. Reaching for something inside of me, a lump starts to form in my throat. We're the last of our kind, he says bitterly. He looks so sad and adorable. I get it, I do, but... Hold his hand, but tell him that doesn't excuse what he did. Understand why you did and what you did. I want to hold his hand, but, do I have the right to tell him that? I gently place my hand on top of his. Our skin contact makes him flinch as he straightens his back, staring at me with a puzzled expression. This didn't give you the right to kidnap me from my own home, I say. I understand your reasoning, but that doesn't make it okay. James turns his face away from me, biting down on his bottom lip as if in distraught. Veritas destroyed my home and took my last surviving family members as prisoners. His eyes flickers back to mine. In my quest for survival, I became exactly like him. Hesitantly, James turns his hand the slightest bit, allowing my fingers to slide towards his open palm. He ever so gently closes his hands around mine. This small token of affection is driving my heart crazy. I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken you, he says. I feel relieved to know he's admitting his mistakes. It takes guts to say that you were wrong. You've come a long way, Prince James, I say with a smile. James doesn't even react to my lighthearted way of calling him by his title. Instead, he pulls his hand away from mine. I don't want to be the person who destroys homes and families. He looks up at me, a determined expression on his face. I want to become the person who will protect those he cares about. Sheepishly, I ask, like me.
Michiko.
You are saying my name. How? How? How are you saying my name? My heart skips a beat when he says my name like that. All of my nerves are on alert. What? He clasps his hands together. He seems to hold a power over me I cannot fight. He shakes his head. I have come to trust and care for you. My mind cannot take the thought of seeing you get hurt ever again. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. Awkwardly, he looks away from me. Perhaps now is not the best time to suddenly resemble mute, he mumbles. You sure you cannot stop speaking your mind? I swallow a hard lump in my throat. Sorry, I need to gather my thoughts. I'm trying to figure out what you mean. There are no hidden meanings here, he huffs. I'm fully admitting that it was wrong of me to use you like an object, that I now see you as someone with their own strengths and weaknesses, someone worthy of respect. It's hard to stop my heart from racing. This is not what I expected at all when I came downstairs to have a chat with James. This conversation is feeling very one-sided, he says, the slightest hint of a blush forming on his cheeks. Homie is blushing! Bro, he called my name? He's confessing his feelings in a sort of way. And he's blushing. Holy fuck. I say quickly, realizing he expects me to respond. I fully admit that I had some very negative thoughts about you when we first met. I started slow. In fact, I was even thinking of ways to kill you, I admit. His eyes soften as he looks at me. Do you still want to? No, of course not. I haven't for a long time now. Good, he says, actually sounding relieved. In fact, James, I've also come to trust you, rely on you at times as well. I reach out to him across the counter and grab his wrist, which is why it's silly that I'm still making you wear this wretched thing Forrester Ink made. I open the clasp with the bracelet and let it fall onto the counter. James gives me a look of disbelief. He rubs his wrist where the bracelet used to be. What is this? He questions me. The oath is broken. You don't need to wear it anymore. You're free, I tell him with a smile. After everything we've been through, it's the least I can do. For a long time, James says nothing, staring at the bracelet with hardened eyes. Then he gets up and walks around the counter to face me. He stretches out his hand. What is it? I ask, but take his hand regardless. You trust me, right? I nod. We're going outside? He gently escorts me towards the front door and opens it. The cool wind of the night rushes past me. Then James pulls me into his bare chest. I'm surprised, wondering what he's attempting to do. Let me know if I'm hurting you, he whispers. He scoots me up in his arms. Then he takes me to the sky. It's so pretty. I cling onto him, my arms wrapped around his neck and feeling the wind flowing around me. We're actually up in the air and really, really high. James swirls in the air, making graceful movements. The air is chilly, so I make sure I'm snuggled close to him. He's carrying me like a princess to make sure he's not hurting me. I finally dare to look down and see the amazing dancing lights of the fireflies below. Wow! I gasp out loud. It's so pretty. I press the side of my face against James' chest, which gives me this comforting feeling. His heart is singing to me loud and clear. I look up at James himself. He's wearing an expression I've yet to see on his face. He looks excited, perhaps even a little happy. It's so rare to see him displaying any kind of emotion. Yeah, that I silently take in the sight. James starts to descend from the heavens once we arrive above the lake. Wow! He lands near the edge of the lake and finally releases me, gently putting me down onto the grass. As I disturb the grass, fireflies appear around us, lighting up the area. Look, I say, seeing them buzz around us. The sight is simply magical. Or perhaps I'm just infused with the drug, so everything feels 10 times more beautiful. James pays no attention to them. Instead, he flies off into the night, creating a powerful gust of wind around us. I'm not yelling, but okay. I yell out at him. Is he leaving behind? I see James make a loop in the air, flying above the lake in a controlled manner. He's not leaving behind, he's simply flying. His movements are so graceful, I'm captivated by him. It's like he's doing some kind of ritual. As each movement seems to serve a purpose, he swerves to the right or left, looking part of some kind of dance. He's nothing but a blue blur in the night sky. Wait, he's phased. His markings are glowing. James dives into the lake and immediately bursts out of it, spinning around, creating a vortex of water around himself. Water flies everywhere as he finally halts. His markings make the water droplets glow blue as well. He looks so beautiful and mesmerizing to me. My eyes are glued to his form. Slowly, James loses his speed as he descends upon the middle of the lake. As if he touched the surface of the water and he hovers over it, watching the ripples flow away from him. The blue markings on his face glow in the darkness of the night. The fireflies around me give me enough light to see what's going on. Everything feels like it's sparkling. He truly is not from this world. James finally makes eye contact with me. I feel like I've been captivated by a spell that makes me unable to move. He gradually starts to hover towards me, the tips of his shoes dragging across the water. When he reaches the edge of the lake, he extends out his hand to me. Water drips down from his face, rolling onto his glowing marks. They're so beautiful. Thank you for trusting me, he says softly. A smile spreads across my face. I reach out for his hand, not afraid of him at all. I trust him. My life lies in the palm of his hand, and nothing feels more perfect. James gently lifts me from the ground, wrapping an arm around my waist and pulling me in close to his body. Our noses almost touching each other. The times I've seen him in his face, those pretty glowing marks. It's always been a situation under duress or anger, pain even. This is not one of those times. When I ask him, what have you faced? My tongue feels like lead. James... Was his heartbeat different there? James hovers backwards, taking us in the middle of the lake. I lean my head against his chest again, listening to the song of his heart. The song his heart is playing is comforting to listen to. When my foot suddenly becomes soaked, I look down in surprise. James lowers us into the water. Hey, I'm fine. Now I'll get wet. There's a slight grin on his face as he lowers us completely until I'm finally floating in the water. Don't let go, I tell him. I don't think I can swim with my injuries. Don't worry, I'll never let you go. I find myself blushing and avert my eyes from him, looking down at the water. The reflection of his glowing mark shines back at me. When I look back up again, his blue eyes are gazing into my own. I find myself lifting a hand out of the water and touching the mark right beneath his left eye. James doesn't flinch away from my touch. Why did you phase? I decide to ask. I thought you only did it while fighting or when in pain. Or who glow when they're in combat? Or... He looks me in the eye, excited. Ah! I was almost under the impression it was a silhouette of attractive mate. It's a bit embarrassing to admit. He does look super pretty like this. It's very attractive. Who says it isn't? He answers nonchalantly. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. I immediately pull my hand away from his face. My cheeks burn with a blush. Is he serious? Unexpectedly, James grabs my hand underwater, bringing it back to his face. My wet fingers touch his glowing marks. Do you dislike them? He asks in a soft voice. I think they're gorgeous, I shake my head. How could I dislike a part of you? James closes his eyes, leaning his face into the touch of my hand. I'm shocked at his actions. I never imagined we'd be here, in a lake, me, touching his face like this. His skin feels so warm despite the cool water. I'm feeling a little short of breath. I carefully push wet strands of hair from his face. His eyes flutter open, gazing at me with a look of longing. I feel like I'm melting in front of him. There's a tension growing between us. It's almost palpable. The slow hum of a beat can be faintly heard radiating from him. Do all of our hosts sound like you? I ask. What do you mean, sound like me? Do I have a strange accent? My hand moves away from his face and slips it back into the water. I press it against his chest, my fingers fanning out. I can feel his heart thump against it. It's the same beat, strange beat from before. It feels like it's playing a song, I muse out loud. James' eyes widen slightly. You can hear it, he asks. I can feel it even now. I say as I push against his chest, his heart leaping against my hand, pounding harder than before. I sound out the melody I've been hearing all this time, mimicking it in a tune with his heartbeat. It's so peculiar. I've never heard a heartbeat like yours. For a moment, it's quiet as both of us float in the lake. The beating rings louder in my ears. Oh my god, he's laughing? I guess you're cute. Sudden laughter escapes from James' mouth. I'm shocked to hear it and pull my hand away from him. To think an earthling would, he says with a smile, shaking his head. I'm seeing so many sides to him, it's a wonder to behold. No, it makes sense why you would. Before I knew what's going on, James pushes his palm against my lower back, pressing me against his chest. He lifts us out of the water, the cold wind sweeping past us. We hover above the lake, our feet barely touching the water. It's like we're standing on it. I'm snuggled against his warm body, hearing the low of his heartbeat thump into my ears. James starts to sway, still holding me firm, looking down at me with gentle eyes. It's such a stark difference. once. He used to give me this ice-cold look, like I was nothing but vermin to him. If looks could kill, I'd be dead a million times over. Now look at him. His once icy gaze now feels warm and gentle. Even his lips are pulled into what I can only deduce is a smile. This is throwing me for such a loop. I wasn't prepared for this. I was prepared to hopelessly fall for him. Jim suddenly spins us around the air. A small vortex appears beneath our feet. He stops dead in his tracks and the droplets fly around us, cloaking us in a curtain of sparkles. My switch dock fell. I think Arya tugged at the cord. I can't help but smile at the pretty sight. It feels like a spell is being cast upon me. I draw in a deep breath and look up at him. At his eyes, I feel like they've captivated me. The lullaby beats louder in my ears. Only the strongest and most suitable mate can hear Rahul's call, he whispers. Call? I asked, feeling entranced. To me, not everyone can hear it. It definitely sounds like some kind of siren pulling me into deep. No one's ever heard mine before. Didn't think it was possible. Yet here you are, surprising me once more. Oh my god. Does that mean I've loved this man since the day he kidnapped me? I've heard it ever since you took me away, I confess. I didn't realize it was something only I could hear. When I was planning to kill you, I admit, that's when I heard it for the first time. He lowers his face down to mine until he stops right before our lips touch. Do you still wish to kill me? He asked, his tone serious. Not at all, I replied.
Michiko.
You are deadass saying my name. What the hell? Oh my god, does that mean anyone that typed in their name, somehow the voice bot like picks it up and knows how to pronounce it? Is this how some of y'all had him jump up on your ranks? Because there's no way for us to finally get this kind of content when the game's about to be over for him to jump ranks on your list. Because I think he might still stay at the bottom tier for me. The name being spoken from those lips are giving me sensations I never thought were possible. James, I say his name as well. Are you seducing me? I asked, gesturing to the way he's been holding on to me and dancing with me on the lake. All this skirting around the idea of seduction has been going on for months. The many times he accused me of seducing him, even when I wasn't trying to. The way he said he's not immune to me. Being able to hear his call. James wavers for a small moment, eyes blinking at me. Yes. Well, since you're being so honest about it, my body succumbs to him, my will is evaporating away. That one word has way more power over me than the manner in which he utters my name. I will stop if he asks me to. But I must confess I have a hard time controlling myself around you. Oh my god. Control in what way? I say things I don't wish to say. I find myself gazing at you when you're not looking. Before I know it, I seek you out. I can't believe how brutally honest he is about his own feelings right now. I'm getting embarrassed from it. Perhaps I was merely imagining your attempts at seducing me. Perhaps I just wanted it to be true. I'll admit, I subconsciously sought you out as well. I wanted your advice, I wanted your help, I wanted to... I look up at him, feeling my breath being taken away. I want to know more about you. His blue eyes flash brighter for a split second, his cheeks becoming distinctly red, his lips transform into an awkward smile. Then shall I continue? He asks as his hands travel up my back. He's so cute! What the fuck? I bite down on my bottom lip, trying to not jump at the chance. Yes, I answer. May I kiss you? He weakly asks me for permission. To me, that's the single greatest idea he's ever had. I'll let him have the first kiss. Nod at him. Oh my god, wait. Please know that nodding is yes. You have to learn by now. I nod at him, a signal which he has learned by now. The significance of that small gesture breaks all of James' barriers. Slowly but surely he inches closer, holding my breath, my pulse going out of control. Oh my god. It's so fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful out here. Then his lips finally pressed against mine. A warm energy flows through me, unlike anything I've ever felt before. His lips are so soft and so gentle, not what I expected at all. My head is spinning as our lips move together. His kiss is leaving me tingling all over. Something builds up inside of me, something warm and familiar. It's telling me to keep kissing him to keep kissing him, to not let go. This feels amazing. He sucks at my lips at first gently, but as I respond, he gets a little more confident. I pull away from him for just a second so I can get some oxygen flowing to my head again, but James is impatient and immediately crashes his mouth against mine, kissing me harder than before. I go wild with hormones bubbling up towards the surface. I've definitely been attracted to him all this time, but the intensity of my feelings right now are on a whole other level. We float in the air, embracing each other's arms, lips locked together as if it's our lifeline. I trust him, and I want him. I can't deny that. James finally removes his lips from me, and I already want to kiss him again. He lowers his head until he plants his mouth on the side of my neck. A shock travels through me, and I groan out loud. That feels good. Alright, okay. We're just gonna go all out, I guess. He sucks lightly on that spot, making my body burn with electricity. My pulse is leaping against his lips. I didn't realize that aliens could kiss so godlike. What the fuck was that? James parts his lips and I'm suddenly struck by a sharp pain. I feel like I'm being infused with something as a certain fluid crawls underneath my skin. Did you bite me? Did he bite me? Are you a vampire all of a sudden? I yell, pulling away from him. I touch the spot on my neck and notice blood. It stings. Did you just bite me? I asked, stunned at the revelation. James slowly blinks at me, startled at my reaction. Affirmative. He states in a matter of fact. What the hell? Why? Are you a vampire? I'm breathing so fast right now. My body's heating up. My heart is pounding even faster. I'm still in a whirlwind of emotions. My mind is playing catch up with what's happening. I was completing the imprint, James explains. Excuse me? I go fall. Did you just say imprint? Put me down, I demand. James flies me towards a field of grass and lowers me down onto the ground. I jump away from him as soon as my feet touch dry land. My heart calms down a little due to the distance between us. As I rub the spot on my neck, the bleeding has already stopped, but I feel like it's throbbing. It's an odd sensation. It's hard to explain, like there's another life source inside of me. James, humans don't imprint, I tell him seriously. What exactly did you do to me? James crosses his arms across his chest. I did what any Rahul would have done in this situation, making sure the bond is completed and marking you as mine. My eyes just bulge out. It's one thing to be making out with an alien. It's an entirely different story to have that alien try and take ownership of me. What do you mean, yours? James frowns at me. I don't know why you're being so difficult. You agreed to it. I didn't force you. I didn't ask to be bitten or imprinted or whatever you were doing. Take it back. He huffs at me. I can't take it back. It's completed. He looks insulted. I don't care. I didn't consent to any neck biting. He stumbles. You knew Rahul mate for life. He did in fact tell me this a while ago. We didn't mate though, I say with cherry red cheeks. Unless kissing is a mating ritual for them. Seeing James' own embarrassed face, I realize that yes, kissing definitely falls under the umbrella. I run my fingers through my hair in a panic. No, this can't be happening. I've come to terms with my feelings for James, but to suddenly be thrust into a lifetime commitment? Do Earthlings not? James asks awkwardly. No, we don't. Usually you're in a relationship for a few years before you get married or something. You date around first, multiple people even, I explain in a frenzy. I don't know about you, girl. But some people haven't even dated once, so you chill out with this confidence. I have no room to talk though, because I've had one boyfriend only, so I guess James will be fit for me. Have you been with multiple people? He asks. Whatever. Your past may have been, it does not matter, he says dismissively. That's not helping your case, I fire back. Are you rejecting me? He asked deadpan. No, I mean, but I can't come up with a coherent sentence. I squeeze my eyes shut. This is just overwhelming. Give me a moment. Alright, breathe in, breathe out. My mind is spinning. Girl, do you not see forever in him? I mean, I know it's pretty fast, we just confess our feelings, we just kiss, and then all of a sudden you're his forever, for life. That is a lot to take in. So we have to remember that. But like, are you already thinking of leaving him? Like, are you already thinking of leaving him when you just confess your feelings to him? And that kiss has no right to feel so good. I'm making to just throw everything to the wind and kiss him again. Just take me back to the cabin, I say, extending my hand to him. Surprisingly, he obliges without further comment and pulls me against his body before taking flight. Once inside, I pace around for a bit as James stares at me with his normal brown eyes. I can't undo it, he says. I bite down on my thumb. I did not realize you had no intention of being my mate, despite your confusing actions. Look, James, while I'm not exactly rejecting you, it is quite a big deal to suddenly spring this on me without telling me about it first. Oh, so cute. James shyly averts his eyes. I admit I only have rudimentary knowledge about the proper way of bonding. There weren't any adult Rahul around to teach us in full, he admits. He holds a hand over his heart. But I do know that if you hear the call, then you're the best mate for me, even if you aren't Rahul. Why can't he make it sound so romantic? It's like he's saying it's fate that we should be together. I think I want to sleep. Let me gather my thoughts, I say slowly. Very well, perhaps you'll be able to accept it tomorrow. I give him a wry glare. Right, I say sarcastically. As I'm about to turn away from him, James catches my hands, forcing me to look at him. Look, MC is not into you. MC is mad at you. Me, the player, is not mad at you. Because, you know, I kind of can see both sides. Because, one, he's ready for you for life. Two, I don't know why she's already backing out when she confessed. I guess she's scared of the commitment, honestly. But you shouldn't be thinking about, like, possibly breaking up with this man when you just confessed your feelings to him. But you remind me, Chico, don't forget that. I won't. But I will. At the same time, when I go to the next route. He said in his little voice that makes me want to melt. I wish more games had whatever this coding thing is happening where they say your physical name. Because I feel like that would make the game so much even more immersive. By hearing your name being called out instead of, you know, just like grunts and whatever. And I am now yours. I understand. He releases me and takes a step backwards. This man is going to be the death of me. I wake up when sunlight starts flooding into my room. I lift my head up from the pillow and groan, wanting to sleep. Can you guys see Arya? She wants attention. I know. This video is an hour long. I know, love. Having to face James again after what happened last night, I'm unsure how to act. He imprinted on me. Imprinted. Irreversible. Not that I don't have feelings for him, but this is all a little too sudden. Hey Chico, get up! The parade is today, Fry calls for me from downstairs. I grumble and finally step out of bed. When my feet touch the floor, I suddenly notice something different. I feel lighter, like nothing is weighing me down. Like there's no pain. In fact, I'm not feeling any pain when I breathe in, as I have been since yesterday. Are the painkillers still working? No, I didn't take any when I went to bed last night. Curiously, I lift up my pajamas and inspect my chest, expecting to see it covered in bruises to see nothing but my own skin. Flawless, pristine. My injuries, they're gone. Healed, I would say. Even the marks on my neck from James' bite are gone. What the fuck? He just gave me healing powers. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Girl, you're committed to James. Stop playing. Stop playing around. You don't have time to date around anyway. Because who are your options out here? Huh? Obviously, we can't date you or Kane. Because, you know, they had their own routes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. It's a very long-ass episode. Which possibly means that the next episode could be the last episode. Technically. Possibly. At the rate that we just into love. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful. And I will see you guys in the next one.